Hello everyone and welcome to the second to last episode of In the Huddle this season. Unfortunately, Jake, next week will be my final show on In the Huddle and as well on Top of the Hour. I'm Cecilia Ramirez.
And I'm Jacob Russell. About time. I'm totally kidding. Last week,
leaving
Aggie
right now.
softball and baseball were both playing at home. Aggie softball had their last home game of a season on a very special day for the seniors. Cameron baseball finally played the long-awaited set against Abilene Christian when we came for that #1 spot in the Lone Star Conference.
Yeah, and we got that #1 spot. Also, Aggie Golf is competing in the LSC tournament in Thackerville, Oklahoma. The women's golf team is 7th place out of 9 teams with a first-round score of 320, and the men's team is 4th out of 10 schools with a score of 570. We'll have the final results on next week's show.
The Cameron baseball team got the job done at home last weekend, winning 3 games against Abilene Christian in a 4-game series. The Aggies have been chasing the Wildcats for the #1 spot in the conference. Cameron is now the top seed in the LSC with a record of 28-12. Also, CU won their 37th game of the year, breaking the old record of the season with 36 wins. Get a chance to get a look at some of the action with the Aggies getting ready for the game outside the dugout. Alex Lyons up to bat, gets a base hit. Very important to get the runner on first to start the playoff. Now you guys watch, we got to slow this down just a little bit to make sure you see what's going on here. We see a picture of Alex Lyons on first base. Very big threat on the base pass. Foreshadowing, stolen base. Then we get a runner on second base. Nate Arevalo up to bat. Hot bat all season long for the Aggies. This man has never cooled down. Belts one into left field. Advance the runners just a little bit more. Alex Lyons has to hold up at third. We got 2 ducks on the pond now for Thomas Dickers coming up to bat. And you know what this man's going to do. He's automatic every time. Scores the runner. Plates home Alex Lyons. Here we go to the pitcher, Justin Kirkpatrick. Nice shot, deep center field. Not in Barnett's territory. Can of corn for that man. Gets the relay throw back in quick. No harm, no foul for the Aggies, excuse me. Kirkpatrick again, closing out the inning with the K. Cameron Aggies would go on to win this game 14-2 and win 3 out of 4 in the series. The Aggies only lost the last game and are still yet to lose a series at home this season.
The Aggie softball team had their last home game of the season this past week against none other than their rival, UCO Broncos. Southeastern leads the North Division, followed by Central Oklahoma, and then Cameron. Going straight to the action on Saturday, here we see our favorite shot of In the Huddle with Coach Beth Watson. 5 seniors are leaving the team. This is senior night. The seniors leaving include Sharina Pulse, Megan Young, Jenna Boren, Chelsea Jordan, and Giselle Guzman. As you can see, it was a competitive first game series, as you see in our graphic visual there. First play we have up. It's going to be a base hit. Gets on base. No problem there. Oh, I'm sorry, that was an out. We got the Aggies on defense. That was an out for her. Here's the pitch. Ashton McBride. Deep left. And we're going to pull that down. That's Kelly Lentz pulling it in the outfield. Another pitch. This one's going to drive out. Courtney Clifford waited for just the right pitch. Puts it down the line. Able to grab the double. Attempted bunt by UCO is going to be the next play. Go straight to that. Ashton McBride pitching once again. Here's the weak bunt. Chelsea Jordan's going to pick it up, throw her out at first. Nice play there. Very, very good defensive presence by the softball team today. Not as much offensively as we usually see from them. There's Kelly Lentz again, catching the fly out in left field. Here we go on the next pitch. We'll make a play. Kelly Lentz also doing it from the plate, not just the field. Aggies wind up losing the first game 5-2, come back to win the last game of the series 8-1. Cameron University only had 2 errors in that game. And coming back to our desk for our favorite roundtable discussion, today we have a very special guest. This is Michael Faggett. You may have seen him on Top of the Hour as a reporter. He's going to be taking over as producer next semester on In the Huddle. Nice to have you here finally, Mike.
It's good to be here. It'll be exciting on the In the Huddle Sports Show.
Yeah, and the biggest topic we have right now for our show is definitely my favorite part of the season. You know, NBA is wrapping up. Sad to see NBA wrapping up and baseball. Every day. Very competitive playoffs. A lot of underdogs took over in the beginning in the Western Conference. LA's 1-0 against Utah. Houston's 1-0 against Portland. Dallas and San Antonio are 1-1. Denver leads the Hornets 1-0. Then we go to the East. Cleveland leads 1-0 to Detroit. Atlanta leads Miami 1-0. Orlando getting beat by Philly 1-0. And Boston and Chicago tied at 1-1. What do you guys see being so effective here at the beginning of the playoffs?
Well, so far, I like the way Derrick Rose has played in the playoffs. He played excellent against Boston in both games. He had 36 points, 11 assists in game one. Came back, had a decent game overall, 10 points, 6 boards, 7 assists. So his play against Boston has been huge because without KG, it's easier for him to go to the basket, penetrate, get his teammates involved, and score. That's been one factor I like in this playoff so far.
For me, it's got to be Chauncey Billups with the Nuggets. There's been a lot of closet talk all season since the trade of MVP discussions. And if you had a chance to catch game one, would he go for 36 points? He pretty much carried the Nuggets on his back. A spot that many thought Carmelo would finally step up, win his first playoff series. He came in, with LeBron, with Wade. Wade's won a championship. LeBron's been in the finals. Melo's never made it out of the first round, ever.
He can't do it on his own, but now that he has the help from Billups and J.R. Smith's been terrible. I mean, incredible.
Exactly, but either way, Billups is the backbone, and he brought him to the next level.
Yeah, no question about it. Going back to Boston and the Bulls, is Derrick Rose, Ben Gordon, and the arsenal of players that the Bulls do have, because they have a pretty stacked team for once, do they have the potential of beating Boston without KG? Because the Bulls, in the first game, that was the first time the Bulls had defeated the Celtics in the playoff series.
They have the potential to beat them. The key factor is going to be Tyrese Thomas playing consistent in the series. He had a not-so-great game in the second game. He only had 4 points or 6 points with 6 blocks. In the first game, he had 18 points. He needs to play consistent. Derrick Rose continue to penetrate, get his teammates involved. Ben Gordon continue to play well. And the bench players have to play well also. It's going to be huge because KG's not there. And without KG, Boston doesn't have that inside presence offensively and defensively. I mean, you like Glenn Davis's game, but he's not KG, and it's going to be difficult for Boston to maintain, especially since they played so close early on in the series.
So what's up with Orlando, guys? Orlando Magic definitely had a great record in the East, had the strong center presence of Dwight Howard, but they fell to Philly in the first game. Andre Iguodala had that last game-winning jumper. That's definitely one of the first times I've seen him do it. He's actually stepping up and leading his team. Philly's actually got a pretty good shot. Do you see them beating Orlando, or do you see Orlando going in the second round?
The one thing that I see about it, and it's something that's been talked about before, is the fact that people think Dwight Howard's soft. Now, 36 points, whatever, 18 rebounds, obviously he's going to put up the numbers, but he gets poked in the eye and has to leave. And now, this eye poke that we've seen routine, not saying, I don't know, judge the severity of it, we've seen eye pokes all the time in basketball going for rebounds. Now he's going to doctor's appointments and having his eye checked out. And kind of making a bigger deal than what it is, kind of maybe just his immaturity that people have accused him of. Now, I'd like to see him, if he steps up and gets a killer instinct and actually kind of gets mad at somebody and feels like doing something, he can take over a game. Ridiculous what he can do. His physical abilities outweigh everybody, but I still haven't seen that of him yet. Like, he puts up the numbers, don't get me wrong, but get poked in the eye, leave the court and have to, I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll see what happens.
You got to think about it. He's got somebody, a veteran in Samuel Dallenberg, on him in Philly, and Dallenberg's always done a good job being able to post up with those bigger players. And Dwight Howard's still starting out, not as aggressive as you'd want him to be. I think Dallenberg's got that upper advantage. What do you think about it, Mike?
I think one thing Orlando has to do is be able to get the ball to Dwight Howard. One thing they went away from in game one was not getting him the ball in the last few minutes. And we saw Philadelphia come back from an 18-point deficit, come back to win the game because Orlando went away from what worked for him in that game.
But do you think they went away from him because they're afraid of him being soft in the end? Because he doesn't have the killer instinct?
I think part of that has been a factor, but you have to trust him in the late game because he is your franchise player.
And Austin's no Jameer Nelson.
Exactly.
All right, well, the playoff competition continues. Tonight there's games all week, almost every day. Thanks for joining us once again here on the #1 rated sports show on CU's campus. If you tuned in late, you can check out all of our programming on YouTube.
Just go to youtube.com and search CU Internet TV with no spaces. You'll see all of our shows, including the newest episode of our CUTV telenovela, as well as bloopers from the last chapter.
Chapter 5 is under construction as we speak and will be airing as soon as next week. We'd also like to give a special thanks to the Collegiate Sports editor, Bennett DeWan, for all the lovely photography displayed on our plasma throughout the show.
Don't forget to tune in next week for the season finale of In the Huddle and my final appearance on the show. I'd like to give my very own special thanks to my co-host and friend, Jacob Russell, for helping me create and put this sports show together, as well as Michael Faggett for agreeing to take over as producer next semester.
On behalf of Cecilia Ramirez, Michael Faggett, I'm Jacob Russell.
We'll see you in the Huddle.